Okay, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of that FPL show. I'm joined by the boys today. I'm joined by Jack and Rod. How you doing, Fieldzy?
I'm good, Jack. Right, back with a vengeance. Haven't been on here for the last week or so good to be back.
Yeah, bringing sexy back in the words of JT. Rod, how you doing, mate?
I'm not bringing sexy back, but I am bringing Coutinho back, baby. I'm good, bro. I'm good. I'm looking forward to a new game week.
Yeah, just hinting there at the transfer of Coutinho to Aston Villa. Might be a tasty pickup in FPL maybe in a week or so's time after they get battered by United again, Rod. But just going off the transfer talk there, me and Rod will be doing another transfer show tomorrow, so be sure to look out for that. Anyway, boys, let's get into how we actually did in game week 21. We'll start with you, Jack. What happened, mate?
I didn't think it was too bad. Considering I forgot to change my team again, and I wasn't surprisingly not the lowest score in our league, but nowhere near you two, to be honest. But I thought, all things considering, and the players I had, I did all right. I got 58 points.
Yeah,
Um,
I think
I, I thought it was all right,
could have been a
but
lot worse.
it could have been a lot worse. I had Dyer, who got me 6 points. Semedo again got me 8, pretty decent. Ben Rama and Salah got me 6, and then Salah got me 14 as captain. Jota and Bueno both got 5, and then Antonio got some points, which is good to see him getting back in the points. I think you've been getting some decent scores the last couple of weeks. It's
Yeah,
good to see that. But overall, I didn't think it was too bad, and I think compared to you and Rod, who are close to triple figures, but I do think big overhaul happening in my fantasy. Uh,
yeah,
I haven't put any chips yet, and got a bit of money in the bank, and just got players injured or away at AFCON. So a lot of changes over the next coming days.
I can't wait to see him, Jack. Rod, how about you? You did pretty well, to be fair.
Mate, I did. I'm happy. 86 points. Red arrow. But
Red Arrow.
Bowen. Green arrow. I'm getting my colours mixed up. Yeah, got a green arrow. Bowen coming to the rescue with that haul of 42 points because of the captaincy.
Yeah.
But there's other people chipped in. Antonio got his 9 points, Reguilon 6, Salah 7. So we ticked along quite nicely, and obviously basically finished well above the average. So puts me in good stride coming into this next double game week 22, where I will be looking to do some moves to hopefully get me into that top 40k, which is a goal of mine for next week. But obviously it's quite tight now
Yeah,
around the top. So.
it is, yes. I mean, there can only be one great on this show, and that is obviously me. But I did do a bit of a madness this game week. I took a outrageous 12-point hit this week. Ended up getting 91 points back in return, though. So all in all, probably okay, I think. Yeah, I think we've got quite similar teams, to be honest, Rod. I think the main standout in mine is the fact that Watkins didn't play, so I got Broher in, and I also got Mbuemo to come in, and I think I also got Brandon Williams, who came in with a single point, which is better than none. Obviously, Jared Bowen. I think it wasn't necessarily a risky move to captain him. I think because of the games they had, and we knew the format he'd been in. It was a choice really for me between Antonio and Bowen, but ended up going with Bowen just because of the form. I was checking on FPL, you know how they like give him the form rating, and I was just like, I gotta go with Bowen because Antonio's form is just nowhere near as good as Bowen's at the moment. Other players did really well for me. It'll be a Broya, just outstanding game. So yeah, but pretty decent. I think I'll take it, Rod. I think the main topic though coming into game week 22, guys, is the captaincy. Obviously, me and Rod knew about the double game week. Jack forgot to do his team, so me and Rod captained Bowen. Salah is now gone, so everyone's favourite captain is out, probably until February 10th, I think it is, when he's expected back, depending on how Egypt do in AFCON. Rod, I mean, let's talk Harry Kane first of all. Is he worth a shout for captaincy?
I think he's definitely up there. The only worry with Harry Kane is he does play Leicester, and Leicester are 1 or 2 players away from a postponement. So they have got a squad back for this coming game, but obviously Tottenham is the second game of their double game week, meaning if there maybe a 1 or 2 injuries, illnesses, or whatever in their coming game, then that Tottenham game does get ruled out, and then you've essentially only captained Harry Kane for the Arsenal game, which I think is quite a difficult one. So Harry Kane, he's high up on the list. I think he's certainly higher than a few players, but I don't think he's top 2 by any means.
Yeah, I think that's a shout. Jack, who are you actually? Are you looking at Kane at all? Is he an option for you?
No, I don't think so. I don't
What-
have him in my team, and with my free hit or wild card or whatever I decided to play, I wasn't really thinking putting him in as the big money striker. But in terms of who I'm going to captain, it's a real tricky one. I was thinking a Chelsea player, but then I completely forgot they were playing City away, which is basically almost like not a game week because it's quite. I don't see Chelsea players either scoring or keeping a clean sheet. So it's a tricky one. I was thinking maybe Ronaldo, but I'm not sure if he's going to be fit, or maybe Bruno Fernandes,
Yeah.
the United player.
Well, Ronaldo is going to be fit. I'll just tell you now. He's ready to go.
Probably Ronaldo then. I think I'm going to go Ronaldo as my captain.
Yeah, I think that's
End of story.
fair enough. I have already locked in that Ronaldo is going to be my captain for the upcoming game week. I'm not sure if it's actually a wise move going off form. Not so much of Ronaldo, just because United at the moment are looking really shit, really struggling to create chances. But with him having a double game week, I'm not sure if the alternatives are going to be better or not. I'm sure there's someone who's on just a 1 game week. He's going to do a madness, and I'll be like, should have captained him. But I've captained Ronaldo. I'm going to put my faith in the United team. Hopefully we can get something done against Villa. Rod, Ronaldo for you? Yes, no?
More than likely, yeah. I think in my free here, I am planning to have quite a mega front three in Kane, Ronaldo, and Dennis. And it's going to be a toss-up between Dennis and Ronaldo with captaincy, but I am swaying more towards Ronaldo. I think it is Ronaldo. But anything with captaincy, for some reason, I've just got... I hate captaining strikers.
Yeah.
I just feel like there's more potential in midfielders. They get more for scoring. They're more likely to assist. They obviously get the clean sheet point. So I do prefer captaining midfielders, but going into this game week, there's not really any midfielders that are clear. Like if Bruno had his form of last year, I think he'd be top of the list, but he doesn't look the player he was last year. So I think for me, it will more than likely be Ronaldo if I play the free hit. If I don't play the free hit, I'll be taking out Son and probably James and bringing in, I haven't just probably Maddison and maybe Alonso, and then I'd probably have the captaincy on Dennis, which I'm not too happy with, but if I need to, so be it. But I'm more than likely I'm going to be playing the free hit, and it's going to be on Ronaldo, with obviously Villa and Brentford being the fixtures, and I think he can score at least one, which not the best return, but yeah, better than nothing.
I think Dennis is a really good shout, to be fair. I mean, looking at his fixtures, Newcastle and Burnley away, definitely not the easiest places to go, with both teams fighting relegation. Could be difficult. I know Watford are in that mess as well. I do like Dennis, though. Obviously, scoring just under 0.5 goals a game, is it now? For Watford. He's a really good option, and not going to the AFCON, he might be a little bit pissed off, and it'd be interesting to see if he could take that out maybe on the likes of Newcastle and Burnley, Jack.
Yeah, I like Dennis. I think he's one of the only few players that I've currently got in my team that won't be going. And I do like you say, I think that him not going to AFCON, he might have something to prove. And even though I just think in terms of double game weeks, those two teams sound like points that games he can get points against in.
Yeah.
So I think that in terms of that, compared to Ronaldo, who's playing 2 away games, Brentford and Villa, it might be easier for Dennis to get goals against those two than Ronaldo against Villa and Brentford.
Yeah, for me, I do like Dennis, but maybe the fact that he is going away to both Newcastle and Burnley. You know, Burnley like to make it hard for teams, especially at home, play very compact. And Newcastle, I think St James Park's a hard place to go, especially as a United fan. We tend to struggle when we go there. There is only one other option I could actually think of a captaincy this week, Rod, and he is a midfielder. What do you think about maybe James Maddison?
Yeah, so Maddison, he was also in my thoughts, but like I mentioned earlier, if that second fixture does get postponed, then essentially I've chosen Maddison over the likes of Jota, Trent for captaincy, which if it was a single game week, I definitely wouldn't do. And it is a risk. If Leicester had a stronger squad and more players available, I'd definitely be thinking about Maddison because I think he's one of their best players. But with them only simply just meeting the threshold for having enough players fit, I think it's a risk. And the worst thing the thing you don't want during a game week is for the second game to be postponed, which a lot of people had this week on free hits. They had Everton assets. They had Leicester assets, and obviously the second game got postponed, meaning people who had brought in the likes of Calvert-Lewin, Gordon, Gray, Maddison, they missed out. So yeah, I'm gonna probably stay away from Maddison, and I'm gonna more than likely go with players who I think will at least play 3/4 of the both games.
Yeah, I can understand that. I do like Maddison though, just because of the form he is in. I remember, I think it was game week 20, he did an absolute madness for me, so I might keep him in mind, maybe swap him for Ronaldo, or we'll see when it comes to it. I mean, next talking point, I guess we should talk about this relegation zone, and Everton, there's a potential of them being clawed into it, depending on what Newcastle and Watford can do. Obviously, Leeds on 19 points as well, Rob. But turmoil at Everton at the moment. A lot of heat's going out. You said about Digne signing for Villa, and he put a post up about how he loved playing for Everton. He just doesn't feel like some people at the club are going in the same direction as him, wanting to push the club forward. And you said that Bernard had a reply to that message, Rod.
Yeah, let me just quickly touch on Dean's statement for people, obviously, who haven't seen it. The thing that stuck with me was, I will always carry you with me in my heart wherever I go. Sometimes it only takes one person from outside to destroy a beautiful love affair. All the best to Everton and Evertonians. With then Bernard replying with, perhaps not everyone understand what goes on behind the scenes. I love Everton as you do, but unfortunately there are people who don't want the same goal as most. So that, for me, that says there's something higher up. There's people making decisions which aren't going to better the club, and that for me refers, in Dean's case, to Rafa, and then in Bernard's case potentially to the board, to the people who make the footballing decisions and transfers, etc. So there's something going on at Everton. They seem like they are in a bit of a mess, and I think if they don't start picking up results, then they're going to be sliding down that table, and losing Dean, who probably arguably is one of their best players. I think that's a killer blow, and Calvert-Lewin's only just coming back to fitness. Richarlison's out, so they are relying on a lot of youth, and when it's dark times, you don't want to be relying on the youth because that can then hurt their career going forward. So it's an interesting situation at Everton, and Rafa, I don't think it was ever an appointment that majority of Everton fans wanted. I think they wanted someone else. I saw interviews of people in Liverpool saying they didn't want him, and there's differing chants in the stands. I've heard just a fat Spanish waiter, and there's people booing him. So it is quite a toxic situation at Everton, and I think, Fieldzy, you as a Liverpool fan, I bet you're loving every minute of it.
Mixed feelings, because it's always Rafa always has place in most Liverpool fans' hearts. But going to Everton, you do lose a bit of that respect. Going to one of the main rivals. But I don't think it's nice to see as Liverpool fans. Still wanted Rafa to do all right, but not like anywhere near Liverpool, if that makes sense. So, but I just think that once you start losing the dressing room of players like wanting to leave and come out in public and say it's down to manager and stuff, like it's only downhill from there once you start losing that. And didn't you be the first to come out and say it, but you don't know who else behind the scenes might be thinking the same thing, might agree with him, and then might push for a move as well. So I see it only downhill with Rafa at Everton now.
Yeah, I think it's pretty rough for him. I'm looking at the fixtures now, lads, and I think they're on the easier side. But to come up against Norwich and Villa, I think Norwich now, they're gonna have to do something if they're gonna try and escape this relegation battle. I don't know if it's possible, but I don't think it's an easy game for Everton to go away to Carrow Road, especially under the backlash at Rafa and the unrest in the dressing room, and then to have Villa after, even at home. I just think Villa are such a good outfit now. I think Gerrard's got them playing a really expansive but also really nice on the eye style of play. And I think Everton are in for a rough one. And then they got Newcastle after that on the 8th of February. I'm sure they'll have a couple of these games sprinkled in as well. But they got to play Newcastle twice. And I think Newcastle, with some of the players they're bringing in, they can maybe do something this season. I think the fixtures are up for him, Rob. What do you think?
I think, mate, it's difficult. They're in a rout right now, but we've seen, especially in the home fixtures, when the Everton crowd get behind them, they pull out results. Like we saw against Arsenal, they got a huge win. They were the better team against Chelsea, conceded, then the crowd got with them, and then they managed to equalise. But the later on in the season, you don't want to be playing teams fighting for their lives to stay up, because a lot of them have got fight. They need to give their all to stand a chance in the league. And when you're in the route, you don't want to be facing teams like Leeds, teams like Norwich, Burnley, Newcastle, etc. So it's an uphill battle for Everton. For me, I think they have an okay squad. They've got a few good. Actually, I'd say they have a good squad. I don't think they should be where they are. Alan, Doucouré, Townsend, Calvert-Lewin, Godfrey. Like they've got some good players. They've got a good spine, but it's, for me, you've got to put the blame onto the manager. The football they play isn't attractive, and so far it hasn't yielded any results. And they've got the players to play nice, fluid, attacking football. But with the last two managers in Ancelotti and Rafa, that's not the football philosophies that they have. So I can't see Rafa lasting too much longer. I think that Everton are probably going to consolidate maybe like a 13th, 14th place finish this year. And yeah, that's not where a club like that should be. That with the players they have, the history, they shouldn't be 13th, 14th in the Premier League. It should be back to the good old days with Villa and Everton battling out for Europa League places. But I think have declined. Villa have slowly gone up, and I think we're probably a bit of a better team than them now.
I don't see Everton getting anywhere near 13th, to be honest. I just think all the teams above them are better than them. And, you look at that top 10 now, and you got sides in there that you probably wouldn't have thought of, like a Brighton, maybe in the Wolves, especially Wolves after last season. But I just don't see any of these teams dropping out of the race. Just looking at Everton's fixtures again, they've got a really, really hard end to the season. The last 7 games are United at home, Palace at home, Liverpool away, Chelsea at home, Leicester away, Brentford at home, and then to finish the season, Arsenal at home. And I don't know who I fancy them beating, to be honest, at the moment. I think Brentford is like a team which could beat Everton on most days at the moment. Maybe it's just because Everton are in this, shit form that you just rate them so lowly. But for me, I just don't know, Rod. It's not looking good. I wouldn't be surprised if Rafa does make it this season, but I think they got to look at bringing someone in the summer. I'm not sure who that is. I think they got to do some business in this transfer window, to be honest. I think it's been proven that, without Dominic Calvert-Lewin, they really suffer a lot. I think they could do with bringing in someone to come off the bench for them up front, but someone's a bit better than fucking Rondon, because I think that guy's a bit of a donkey. Go on.
Solomon Rondon, mate, he's everywhere Rafa goes, he goes. But yeah, I think they've got a good squad, and now that Calvert-Lewin's basically coming back to full fitness, you've got Richarlison to come back. I think.
I disagree. I don't think they do have a good squad. I think they got decent individuals. I think I rate Godfrey. I don't really rate Keane. For me, I do like their midfielders. We were ranting on about Doucouré and Allen at the start of the season, but for me, I think they got to change the system. I don't think the system they've been playing suits them at all. I know Rafa's tried things. He has gone to three at the back as well, and I wasn't too impressed with that when he did that. I think for me, there's players there they could really get a lot of money for, the likes of Richarlison, and I think Richarlison's worth selling. I know Everton loves him and all this, but for me, I think he's a good asset to sell. You're going to bring in big revenue for me, and I just don't think he offers enough for Everton. I think there's players from lower divisions they could probably sign for a lot less with the revenue they bring in from Richarlison, and could do some decent work. And what do you think, Jack?
I agree with the statement saying that Everton have a few good players, but as a team, I don't think that there's much talent there overall. And like I said, but they have had a few people missing, like Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin. They are their main goal threats, and almost also the creative side as well, with like Calvert-Lewin's hold-up play and stuff like that, and Richarlison like winning free kicks and penalties. He's just a tricky player. So without those, it's really compounding their issues. So it'll be interesting to see when they come back, where if they do show a bit of fight and a bit more form. But at the moment, it's hard not to think that and look at the other teams around them as thinking Everton are going to get a result here, because it doesn't look likely the way they've been playing recently.
Well, they brought in two new fullbacks. I think it's Patterson, isn't it, from Rangers? So it'll be interesting to see if he can, get a starting position over Seamus Coleman. I think their team is just like, I don't know, Rod. Rod, do you think I'm going too far saying Sam Richarlison?
For me, I've never really liked Richarlison. I think he's got a very big ego on him. So personally, I think they probably will sell him. I think they've wanted to sell him for ages, but I don't think the bids have been appropriate, or I think they're asking some silly money for him, and I think he's a good player, but I don't think he's anything special, and I probably, if he does go, I can't see him staying in the league. But I don't know. He probably will go purely because of his ego, but I think he'll go maybe to Spain or to Italy.
Yeah, I could see him in Spain. But for me, I just think the money you could get for him could be used to better the squad elsewhere. But yeah, Everton for me, big trouble. I don't see their future being too bright at the moment. I think next season's going to be a big season for them. If they do manage to stay up, obviously, it looks like they're going to be safe. But if they do manage to stay up, there needs to be big change there. And I guess we should talk about the upcoming fixtures, boys. Not too much to do this week. It feels like the Premier League's been away for ages and there aren't too many talking points. But
you can't go on Friday night football, mate. Can't go wrong on a Friday.
I think you can. I like this game, but I don't know. I think you could have just put it on a Saturday. Alright, and let's start off. Brighton against Palace. Kick it off with you, Jack. How do you see this one going?
I like this fixture. I think they're two very good football playing teams, and I've really liked Palace this season. I really think Patrick Vieira is doing a really good job there, and I'm liking the players that they're sort of bringing through. So I can see this being quite an entertaining game. in all honesty. But I think Crystal Palace maybe 2-1. I can see that.
Yeah, Crystal Palace did play last weekend in the FA Cup against Millwall away. A bit of a tricky tie for them. They did come away with the win in the end after going 1-0 down. I think it was, what's his name, the French lad? Michael Olise. He made the difference for him. But for me, I really like Brighton. I think they can get the business done. The problem with Brighton for me is I don't think they have enough going forward. I think they could do bringing in another striker and potentially another winger. I like a lot of their players. It's just they just don't have enough cutting edge, Rod.
I'm completely with you, and for them to have only played 19 games and be on 27 points, I think it's pretty phenomenal considering for me they haven't got any, bar probably Basuma, they haven't got any very, very good players, and they've managed to get by with Daniel Welbeck, Maupay, Trossard with the goals, and it's quite impressive. And I'm a big fan of Potter's philosophy, and like Fieldzy said, I'm a big fan of this fixture. Two very good footballing sides. Palace like to attack, Brighton like to attack, so I think it's going to be quite a fluid game. Actually, I know why they've put it on Friday night. It's a derby. This is Brighton's biggest derby, and this is Palace's biggest derby.
Makes zero sense.
But for me, it makes absolutely no sense. I tried to get it from my mate who's a Brighton fan on why this is a derby, because they're about an hour and a bit away from each other, but he said they've just had this rivalry for a long, long time. So I think that's exactly why it's on Friday night. But I'm going to go with a 2-2. I think it's going to be a good game. I remember the return leg, it was quite good. I think Maupay scored late on to get the equaliser, and that was quite a good game.
Yeah. Sorry, just taking away from that, Rod, all I can think about is how popular you are, because you seem to have a friend who supports every club in England. Like, you probably have a mate who supports Plymouth Argyle, knowing you. Jack, did you give a score prediction?
Yeah, I thought 2-1 Crystal Palace, but I reckon it'll be a very exciting game.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Brighton to do it. I'm going to go 1-0. I think he was a bit harsh here, Rod. I think just saying Basuma's their best player because you're interested, Villa are interested in him. It's a bit biased, mate. But I think they've got some good players. I think Trossard's a good player. I think Lamptey's a good player. For me, I just think they need someone who's going to scare you when you go up against them. And they don't really have that for me. Maupay's the most scary player for me because of his celebration and how embarrassing it is. Anyway, next game, boys. Hopefully we're watching this together. Man City against Chelsea. I think this game's going to be probably really boring to watch. Just because City are playing. I see City dominating a lot of the ball, but I'm going to go with a Chelsea win. They do tend to get the better over City in recent history. You think, look back to last year, Tuchel's first season, I think he beat them 3 or 4 times. I think 3 times in a row. 1 in the league, 1 in the cup, and then to clinch the Champions League title. I'm going to go with 1-0 Chelsea in this one. Rod, how do you see it going?
I'm completely in an incredibly boring game.
Wait. You kind of cut out then. Go again?
Sorry, I said I'm completely in agreement with you. This will be a very boring game. Both teams are... The football style is very boring. It's quite passive. I think Chelsea are more than likely going to sit back, probably try and get City on the counter. City are going to control the ball. It's going to be low scoring, and I'm going to have to go with probably just 1-0 City, similar to the return leg earlier this year.
That's fair enough. Jack, what do you think?
I think it'll be a bit boring game, a bit one-sided with City just having all the ball and Chelsea just happy to just counter-attack and just try and hold on. I did think that maybe Chelsea could nick a result here, and I hope they do, but I'm hoping for a 1-1 draw.
Yeah, I think it makes sense for you. Wanting a 1-1 draw, obviously Liverpool fan. Burnley against Leicester, how do you see that one going, Rod?
I actually quite like this game. It's going to be interesting to see how Burnley cope without Chris Wood, without Maxwell Cornet, and with probably Mate Vidra through the middle. Leicester are also quite depleted, but they've got a few exciting options. Dewsbury Hall's back, Daka's back. They've got Lookman, Maddison. So I think it is going to be quite an interesting game. But after losing Chris Wood, probably one of their best players. I am going to go with a Leicester win, 2-0. I think Burnley are going to struggle.
Yeah, like you say that Chris Wood, one of our best players. I mean, we're going to talk about the transfer of Chris Wood from Burnley to Newcastle tomorrow on the transfer show. But for me, I've never been that impressed by him. I think he's a good player. He's a decent target man, but the money's crazy. I don't care if he's Premier League proven or not.
Just touch on Chris Wood now. So, obviously he scored 3 this year. Previous year 12, year before that 14, year before that 10, year before that 10. So you've got a decent 10 goal a season striker ticking along in a Burnley side. So I think Newcastle probably have a better squad. They're going to be swinging balls in. So I think it's a big signing for Newcastle. I think it's a lot of money, but that's the release clause, and it's a tactical one because it more than likely send Burnley down.
I think that's utter rubbish. I'm really messing. For me, I just don't think Newcastle are as creative as you almost made them out to be there. Because you're like, I know Burnley are like basically they didn't create anything. But for me, Newcastle didn't create much either. And I think it's a good sign in terms of getting what do you call him, Trippier going. But other than that, I think there's better options in the league below and much cheaper deals. But we'll talk about that more on Friday. But for me, this game, I see Newcastle. I see them coming away with a result just because of the home crowd. I know it didn't work in the FA Cup when they went out to Cambridge. But I'm going to go with 1-0 Newcastle. What do you think, Jack?
I think this could be a close one. I think Newcastle with maybe Trippier in the team now and a bit rejuvenated with Chris Wood going. You never know, but I think that they've shown that they're spending their money trying to get the players they can, and I think that with the fans behind them as well, I think they could get a result. I'm gonna go for maybe like a 2-1 Newcastle. I think it'd be a close one, but I think Newcastle just have enough with them being at home.
Yeah, Rod, did you say 1-0 Newcastle?
I actually didn't give a score prediction. I think a packed St James's Park. I'm not sure if they managed to register Chris Wood in time, whether he's or not.
I think they have. I think the deadline was today, wasn't it?
I think today at midday. So I don't know whether
I think it was done by then. Yeah.
Okay, so a packed St James's Park. I think. I don't know. I'm going to go 1-1. I think it's going to be quite an interesting game. Two teams fighting for their lives.
Okay. Norwich against Everton. I'm going with a Norwich win straight up. Jack, talk us through how you think this one's going to go down.
Saying that, I think that this is one of the few games that I reckon Everton could get a result and probably need to get a result here. I'm not sure if Calvert-Lewin will be back in time for this one, but if he is, that'll make a huge difference for them. I do feel that even though they've had their troubles, Everton should get a result here, and they'll probably be wanting to get a result, and because they are one of the relegation rivals, never thought I'd say that, them being Everton, but I think Everton can get a result here, maybe 2-0.
Yeah, I think you made a good point about Dominic Calvert-Lewin coming back, because for me, I forgot he was actually missing, because I've seen him so much on the Nivea Shave Gel ad. It's like he never went anywhere. But yeah, I think that's a good point. I think if they have him, he might be enough to get them a result. But for me, I'm just going to go Norwich. I think they've got to show something, and I think this is a game where it's perfectly set up for them to get something from this game. I'm going to go 2-0 Norwich. What do you think, Rod?
I think you're romanticising Norwich slightly too much.
Nah,
I think
good team, them bad United.
They did, but after that, I think they have been a bit poor. I thought they were quite poor yesterday as well. But once again, Everton are a poor side. I'm going to go with a 1-1. I can't even tell you who's scoring for Norwich. I'm going to go Trusty Pookie and then Damari Gray for Everton.
Fair enough. I think this is a more intriguing game. Wolves against Southampton. I think for me, I think you got to give Wolves the favourites here. I think the only way they're probably going to be hurt in this game is by a set piece. I don't think Southampton have enough creativity to maybe break down that solid Wolves backline. Big fan of Broja. Be interesting to see if maybe he can get on the score sheet again. But I'm going to go with 2-1 Wolves. Rod, any different?
I've been very impressed with Wolves in some games. I think they are quite an attacking side, and I like the way they go about games. Big fan of Neto, Jimenez, Podence, etc.
I mean, you miss out that. For me, Neves is the most fascinating player to watch at Wolves.
I think he's probably one of their best players. And Southampton, to be honest, though, they did look quite good the other day. They've got obviously Che Adams coming back, Broja, who looks like a very good talent at the age of 20, which is so impressive. But I am going to go with a Wolves 2-1 win.
Yeah, Jack, any different?
I think Wolves, again, have been really impressive this year, and they've always been very good defensively, I've thought. So I don't think Southampton will be enough to break them down. So I think Wolves probably a 1-0 win. If not, then I can see maybe a boring 0-0 draw, and neither team being able to break them down.
Couldn't give us the hat-trick, Jack, of 2-1s. Right, Rod. It's going to happen again, isn't it? Villa United.
Oh, it just is, mate, and I'm just so intrigued to know whether Coutinho will get a bit of game time. I think if we're chasing the game, he might get 20 minutes. Obviously, we will be in the pub for this with a couple of pilsners, so win or lose, we're on the booze. Yeah. Maybe Dean starts, but mate, I'm just not
done our breakdown for this. You're not very confident at all. I'm pretty confident in United getting something.
I'm not confident one bit, to be honest, mate, and I've been confident for games. Like, I thought we were going to give Chelsea a proper go, and I don't think we did. I thought we should have beat Brentford. We didn't. I thought we were going to get some. To be honest, probably should have got something against you earlier on in the week, but I'm not confident, mate. I'm going to go 2-0 United.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, mate.
You changed your score prediction, haven't you?
No?
Yeah, you didn't go 2-0 United to begin with, I don't think. I think I'm going to go 1-0 United. Penalty. Bruno Fernandes hit thrust Emi Martinez in the face. I think you're going to dominate this game, just let me say right now. I think you're going to dominate it. But I just think we'll get a penalty. I just have a prediction that United get a penalty late in the game and somehow win it. Jack, how do you see this game going? Obviously, as a bit of a neutral.
I see Villa getting a result here. I watched the FA Cup. I was so impressed with the way Villa played and everything. And I just think that at home now, I think they'll just have that one last little push, and I think they can get a result. I would probably go 1-0 Villa if that's Tuesday.
Yeah, Jack, while you're here, because me and Rod had a bit of a debate over it, whether or not the Villa goal should have counted. I think they went about it the wrong way, but I think it is a foul on Cavani, right? Rod just doesn't see it at all. What do you think? Settle this argument.
So I thought that they were trying to disallow the goal any way they could, to be honest. Yeah. I feel like it wasn't an obvious error that the referee missed that.
But was it a foul?
But I don't think it doesn't matter if it's a foul. The ref didn't see it. The ref didn't give it. I don't think it's an obvious error.
It was a clear and obvious error because he missed a foul.
Ref shook his head at Cavani when he looked at it.
It's that much of a foul. I don't think that it should be not even looked at in a way. But I don't think it's a clear and obvious error.
Okay, Jack.
I did not see that.
Like all of Salah's penalties this season. All right. Thank you for settling it, though, Jack. I must be in the wrong. I must have my United goggles on. Fair enough. But yeah, like I said, Rod, I'm surprised you're not very confident in it because, like Jack said, Villa looked insane the other day and United looked like shit. So it's kind of strange that you're not going with them. Okay.
It's just...
Sorry. Go on, Rod.
It's just my Villa pessimism. Anytime I'm confident something doesn't happen, and we've got a horrific record against United, mate. Win or lose, we're on the double pointers, so it should be a good night regardless.
Well, Rod, just remember our double pointer bet. That you have to buy me one if United win, but if Villa get a draw or lose, I have to buy you a double pointer.
Don't worry, I'll win the poker, mate. So
Was it a double pointer and a skittle bomb? That sounds sweet. Sweet to me. Right, I've actually got quite a few more games left to break down. Feels like I've been going for ages. I'm really out of it today. If you're listening to us, I do apologise. Liverpool against Brentford, though, on Sunday. Jack, you got to be pretty confident, right?
Yeah, pretty confident. You know, I know Brentford. We drew against Brentford early on the season, but 3-3, and that was a hell of a game. The only problem with Liverpool is no Mane, no Salah. Yeah, I can't remember the last time that we played in the league without those two.
Who do you see as your, like, obviously you play a 4-3-3. Who do you see as your front three?
I see it as maybe Firmino, Jota, and either Minamino, Origi, or Chamberlain for that last wing place.
Okay. But, I mean, you got to think the last result and the reverse leg. You got to think it was Brentford at home, but with Liverpool at Anfield, I just can't see Brentford beating you, right?
No, I don't think so. But then at the same time, like you look at that front three, and the only goals I see there are Jota, who has been pretty fantastic for us this season. But like I say it's just a bit unknown because I can't remember the last game I've seen in the league without Mane and Salah.
Okay.
But I would say maybe 1-0 Liverpool or Liverpool not scoring and being 0-0. I'm not quite sure on this one.
Well, I thought you was quite confident. This is the reverse. Yeah. Rod, you're quite confident in a Liverpool win here, aren't you?
I think they're gonna win. I don't think I'm confident. Brentford, they look pretty much back to full strength. Obviously, Mbeumo's back, Tony, Yanal, Canos, etc. So they are back to full strength. Liverpool without probably two key players. And when Jack was listing out who's probably going to be on the other wing, and he was names like Oxlade-Chamberlain or Origi, I wasn't particularly convinced. But I think Liverpool do have a good enough squad to win. I don't think it's going to be convincing, but I'm going to go for a 2-1 Liverpool win. And obviously Trent and Jota are going to probably also be in my free hit team. So points from them would be lovely.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go with a Liverpool 2-0 win. For me, it's not even so much the attack. I just think you're going to have so many chances that you probably will score one. I think you just dominate the midfield in this game. I'd be surprised if Brentford did get anything out of it. Right, West Ham against Leeds. I think this game is really intriguing, mainly because I think West Ham are going to score a lot of goals. And, man, should we Should we captain Jared Bowen again, Rod?
The thing is that obviously it's a single game week, and when you've got the double options, then you kind of the vision is blurred by those options. But I don't think Captain Jared Bowen's a bad shout at all. He scored 2 yesterday. Probably should have got more. I think he hit the woodwork twice
and got
a disallowed goal. So it's really not a bad option, and that's another reason. Had he maybe put in an average performance yesterday, he probably wouldn't be in my free hit team. But going off that, I have to keep him in it because even though it is a single game week, Leeds are susceptible to goals. So I'm going to go with a West Ham 2-0 win.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'll probably go with West Ham 4-0. Jack, what do you think?
Yeah, I'll go in between both of you, and I'm going to say 3-0 West Ham. I feel like Leeds just leak goals. It looks like West Ham are getting back in them with Antonio getting some decent returns. Bowen is on fire at the moment, so I can see it West Ham dominating 3-0.
Yeah, I think that's fair enough. Spurs Arsenal. For me, going off the League Cup game yesterday, and then Arsenal against Nottingham Forest, I don't know who to pick in this one. One of you's going to have to sway me. Jack, give us your opinion on the game.
I am going to go for an Arsenal win. I feel like Arsenal have always played well against the big teams, even though Spurs aren't doing that great this season. I think that Arsenal have always had a good game plan against teams around their level, and that's Spurs against Chelsea. They just look so uninspiring, and I haven't really been impressed with Spurs for a while now, the way they play. But with Arsenal, I'll put the Forest lose down to just didn't turn up on the day, and which has happened a lot for Arsenal this season. But recently, it hasn't been as frequent. But I reckon Arsenal can turn it around and put in a good performance.
I think that's being kind on Arsenal not turning up on the day. Like, if you told me that they didn't have a shot against Nottingham Forest in the whole game, I might believe you, because I can't remember them having one. Rod, what do you think about this one?
I want to say that for me, this is a brilliant Super Sunday and one I'm going to enjoy watching. And I think Spurs have been a bit poor. Their performance yesterday definitely wasn't inspiring. I think Arsenal, Liverpool tonight in the Cup, I'll be doing a bit of an eye test on Arsenal as well. But for me, I think Arsenal are the team in form. Obviously, losing to Forest, it's not ideal, but these things do happen. But their Premier League form for me has been pretty impeccable. I think they've been brilliant. And I am going to go with an Arsenal win. It's going to be 2-1.
Right, you have swayed me, boys. You swayed me to the Spurs side. I'm going to go with Tottenham 1-0. Just because I thought Tottenham looked more dangerous against Chelsea than Arsenal did against Nottingham Forest. And for me, Arsenal, I think they've struggled going away to most sides of the big boys anyway. You got to remember the Liverpool battering, the losing to Michael Carrick's United team. So yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Spurs. Burnley against Watford on a Tuesday. Who gives a fuck? Right, Rod?
Absolutely not, mate. This is Dennis territory, and it's going to be a Dennis brace 2-0 Watford.
Really? Even away?
Of course, mate. Dennis performs home, away, neutral, even in Nigeria, mate. Dennis go 2-0.
How come ever since Steven Gerrard's come in, you're like, fucking course, mate, fucking hell.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm going to go with a Watford win here as well. I'm going to go 1-0 Watford, Dennis goal. Jack?
Yeah, I'm not. It's a bit of a mare game, isn't it? One of those you're like, am I really going to
watch it?
Watch
No.
that? No, probably not.
No.
Yeah, for only Watford fans. But I think just solely because I feel like Watford have got a few more goals in them, I reckon maybe a 2-1 Watford. I like that scoreline.
Yeah, I see that one. I just don't know what Burnley can really offer going forward. Obviously, haven't got Cornet, missing quite a few players as well. Brighton against Chelsea. I think this game's actually a really decent one on Tuesday. 8 o'clock kickoff on BT Sport. I think because Brighton at home, it might be a draw. I'm going to go 2-2. What do you think, Jack?
I hope it would be a 2-2 draw. I feel like it could be an interesting game. Play similar styles, I think, and I just enjoy watching Brighton because they just do play good football, and they do play well. And I can see it being at Brighton as well. I can see them nicking a result as well. I'd probably go the same scoreline, maybe even 1-1 instead.
Yeah, okay. Rob, what do you think?
I'm with you. I think the way Brighton play football, Potter's philosophy, I'm really a big fan of, and I think the return leg was only a couple of weeks ago, where I think Welbeck nicked a header late and equalised. So
I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think Welbeck came on and nicked an equaliser late on with a brilliant header, to be completely honest. But I think Chelsea then probably need to sort their shit out. They are losing some key players, obviously in James, Havertz, etc. I think Jorginho came off injured yesterday, so I'm going to go for a Chelsea 2-1 win.
Yeah, and with Chelsea, obviously they're in desperate need of a left back at the moment. Trying to get Emerson back on loan might not happen. Leicester against Spurs on Wednesday. I think this is a decent game as well. I'm going to go Leicester win. I think James Maddison's going to get 2 goals in this game. I'm going to go 2-1, Harry Kane on the other side. What do you think, Rod?
Obviously, this game is in a bit of limbo. It kind of all depends on if Leicester manage to come away in the Palace game without any injuries or illnesses, etc. But I do quite like this game on paper. I'm going to go with a Spurs 2-0 win and going to go with a Kane brace because he's in the team.
What do you think, Jack?
I reckon this is a good game too. Probably similar teams in terms of where they are in the league, and I just think that I can see Leicester getting a result here. I do think this is one of those games where Maddison just pops off and gets like 2 goals and an assist. One of them being like a worldie or something. So I'm going to go with maybe 3-1 Leicester.
Yeah, I can see it.
Maddison hat-trick.
All right, last game of the bloody game week. It feels like been covering this game week for like 2 hours to me. I feel really out of it. Brentford against United. I'm gonna go Brentford win at home. I just think I just can't see United getting into shape this quick. I think it's going to take a while. I'm going to go Brentford 2-1. Man, all the 2-1s today. Yeah, 2-1 Brentford. Rod?
It's an interesting fact because 2-1 is the result that happens the most. So, yeah, I don't blame you for saying 2-1 a lot. I think you're being quite negative towards United. I think Brentford this year, they just haven't really lived up to what I thought they might. I thought that they might do a Sheffield United of their first year, come out of the blocks, which they started well, but they've just kind of tailed off, and the footballs are not particularly attractive. And for me, Ivan Toney, he's, especially this year, he's proved that he's simply a championship striker, and he hasn't really cut it in the league so far, and the goals he has scored mainly have been penalties. So I do think United are going to... I'm going to think they're going to win comfortably. I'm going to go over 2-0 United win.
Okay, fair enough. Jack?
Yeah, it's one of those games where I feel like United probably will get a result of Villa, even though I said it'd go the other way. But I feel like it's one of those games where United get one win and then the next one they sort of just don't perform as well as the other result. And I can see them dropping points at Brentford. I'm probably going to go for 1-1 here, only because it's away and it's United play 2 games in, one on Saturday and then one on Wednesday.
Yeah.
I just feel like
Tough.
will they be 100% ready and it'll be a tough away leg.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's just United not at the races, and I think with the 2 games in quick succession, I just don't know if they can... I don't know if they get a result in either game, to be honest. But that's the end of the show. Rod, any last words? He doesn't have any last words, right? Rod, Jack, any last words?
Bring on the weekend, baby.
Bring on the weekend, baby. All right. Rod, are you there?
I am. I've got some last words.
All right.
Wake me up before you go. Who needs Grealish when you got Coutinho? Over and out, baby.
Okay, thank you very much. Until next time, I'll see you. Bye.